In a valley nestled between ancient sleeping mountains there stood a temple. Its wooden beams, smoothed by centuries of wind and rain, held a quiet strength. Each morning, the sun would rise and pour its gentle golden light through the rice paper windows, illuminating the main meditation hall. The air inside was always still, yet alive. It carried the faint, sweet scent of blossoming lotus flowers from the nearby pond, and the earthy aroma of beeswax from the candles that flickered with soft, warm flames. This was the sanctuary where a monk named Ananda came to sit, to breathe, and to simply be. He found his place on a simple cushion, his saffron robes a splash of sunrise against the dark, polished wood of the floor. The hall was his universe, a place of profound peace where every object seemed to breathe with him. Rows of candles lined the walls, their small lights dancing as if in silent celebration of the morning. Offerings of fresh flowers, vibrant and full of life, were placed carefully on the altar, their petals open to receive the day. Ananda looked at them and saw the miracle of existence in their delicate forms. He felt the warmth of the sunlight on his skin, a gentle touch that reminded him of the world's quiet embrace. In this space, there was no need for words or complex thoughts. The simple act of being present was enough to feel a deep connection to everything around him. Ananda settled onto his cushion, his back straight but relaxed, like a sturdy tree reaching for the sky. He closed his eyes, not to shut out the world, but to see it more clearly from within. The soft sounds of the temple, the distant chime of a bell, the whisper of a breeze through the eaves, became a gentle melody that guided him inward. He was not trying to escape the world, he was learning to become one with it. The temple was not just a building of wood and stone, it was a vessel that held the accumulated peace of generations of monks who had sat in this very spot, breathing in, breathing out, and finding their home in the present moment. Before him, the world outside continued its busy dance, but here, time itself seemed to slow down. Each second was a pearl, precious and full of potential. The flickering candlelight cast long, gentle shadows that moved with a grace of their own, painting the walls with shifting patterns of light and dark. Ananda knew that this sanctuary was not just a physical place. It was a state of mind he could build anywhere, anytime, simply by returning to his breath. The peace he felt was not something given to him by the temple, but something he discovered within himself, nurtured by the stillness and the light that filled the sacred space around him. As Ananda sat in the quiet hall, his attention turned inward, following the gentle current of his breath. He did not force it or control it. He simply watched it flow. Each inhalation was a cool, life-giving stream entering his body, bringing with it the freshness of the morning air and the scent of lotus blossoms. He felt it travel down, filling his lungs, spreading warmth and energy to every part of his being. With each exhalation, he released all tension, letting go of thoughts and worries like leaves floating away on a river. His mind, once a sky full of scattered clouds, began to clear, revealing a vast blue expanse of pure awareness and calm. This simple act of mindful breathing became a profound meditation. He could feel a subtle energy, a tingling warmth, begin to gather at the base of his spine. It was not a dramatic or forceful sensation, but a gentle awakening, like the first rays of dawn spreading across the horizon. This energy was the life within him, the same life that pulsed in the flowers on the altar and the trees outside the temple walls. With every conscious breath, this inner warmth grew stronger, slowly rising, moving through him like a gentle tide. He was no longer just a monk sitting on a cushion. He was a vessel of living energy, connected to the universal source of all things. The world outside the temple walls faded into a distant hum. The separation between himself and his surroundings began to dissolve. The warmth of the sunlight on his skin felt the same as the warmth spreading through his chest. The soft scent of the candles seemed to be coming from within his own heart. He was the light, he was the fragrance, he was the stillness. In this deep state of connection, there was no longer an I separate from the world. There was only a unified field of existence, a silent dance of energy in which everything participated. Peace was not an absence of noise, but the presence of this deep, harmonious connection. He felt his body becoming light, almost transparent. The physical sensations of the cushion beneath him and the robes on his skin were still there, but they were distant, like echoes from another shore. His awareness was expanding beyond the confines of his physical form. He could feel the roots of the ancient trees reaching deep into the earth and the flutter of a butterfly's wings in the temple garden. This was the fruit of his practice, a profound empathy, a feeling of being interwoven with the fabric of life itself. His breath was the thread that stitched him into this magnificent tapestry, and with every cycle the connection grew stronger and more beautiful. In the deepest moment of his meditation, something extraordinary happened. The gentle warmth that had been rising within him coalesced into a brilliant point of light at the center of his being. It was brighter than any candle, more radiant than the sun itself, yet it did not burn. It was a light made of pure consciousness, of pure joy. Ananda felt a profound sense of release, as if a lifetime of burdens was simply melting away into this incandescence. The sensation was not one of effort, but of surrender. He let go completely, and in that letting go, his spirit, his very essence, began to lift from his physical body. It was a slow, graceful ascent. His consciousness, now a sphere of shimmering golden light, rose from his seated form, moving upward with a feeling of boundless happiness and freedom. There was no fear, only a sense of returning home. He looked down and saw his own body, still sitting peacefully on the cushion, the posture perfect, the breath calm and even. It was a strange and beautiful sight, like looking at a beloved friend resting in a sunlit room. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for this physical vessel that had carried him on his journey, but he also knew that he was so much more than just his body. The light that was his soul continued to float upward, passing through the wooden roof of the temple as if it were nothing more than a thin veil of mist. He rose above the ancient building, seeing the curved tiles, the serene garden and the lotus pond from a perspective he had never known. The world unfolded below him like a magnificent map. He saw the mountains that cradled the valley, the rivers that flowed like silver ribbons, and the small villages where people were beginning their day. The feeling was not one of detachment, but of a more expansive and loving connection to everything he saw. He was pure awareness, unbound by gravity, unburdened by physical limitations. A quiet, knowing laughter bubbled up from the core of his light form, a laughter of pure bliss. He could go anywhere, see anything, simply by the power of his intention. The world was no longer a place to be navigated with weary steps, but a vast and open playground of existence. This was true freedom. Not the absence of rules, but the realization that his true nature was limitless. He was not a body that contained a soul, but a soul that was temporarily experiencing life through a body. Floating in the vast open sky, Ananda felt a joy so profound it had no name. It was the joy of a bird taking flight for the first time, the joy of a river reaching the endless ocean. He was free. This freedom was not about escaping the world, but about seeing it with new eyes, from a place of complete love and understanding. From his vantage point above, the worries and struggles of human life appeared small, not insignificant, but part of a much larger, more intricate pattern. He could see the interconnectedness of all things. how the rain that fell on the mountains would eventually feed the rice paddies in the valley, how one person's act of kindness could ripple outward to touch countless others. He realized that the body he had left below was not a prison, but a precious instrument. It was a tool for experiencing the world, for touching, tasting, and feeling the miracle of life in all its textures. It was an anchor that allowed the spirit to learn and grow in the physical realm. The goal was not to abandon the body forever, but to understand the true relationship between body and spirit. They were partners in a sacred dance, and true freedom came from knowing that you were the dancer, not just the dance. His spirit could soar to the heavens, and his body could remain on the earth, grounding that spiritual wisdom in compassionate action. This transcendent experience taught him the ultimate lesson. The freedom he felt was not something granted by an external force or found only in a high mountain temple. It was an inherent potential within every living being. The kingdom of heaven, the bliss of nirvana, was not a distant place to be reached after death, but a state of consciousness available in every moment, hidden just beneath the surface of our everyday thoughts. The power to transcend our limitations, to touch the face of the infinite, lies dormant within each of us, waiting to be awakened by stillness, by breath, and by turning our attention inward. As the morning sun climbed higher in the sky, Ananda gently guided his consciousness back. He descended like a feather, returning to his physical form with a new sense of reverence and purpose. When he opened his eyes, the temple hall was the same, yet entirely different. The sunlight was more brilliant, the flowers more vibrant, the candle flames more alive. He was back in his body, but he brought the vastness of the sky with him. He knew that the journey to freedom was not about leaving the world behind, but about bringing the light of the Spirit into every single moment, into every single breath.